He can undo it in a second. And he'll undo it a whole lot faster than he did it. He'll take away what he's given you. You say, well, I don't serve a God that'll do that. Well, yes, you do. If you serve the same God I do, if you got the same Bible I've got, it'll tell you in the King James Version of the Holy Bible, will tell you that God can undo everything he's done. He can, and he gives life, and he takes life. You're obedient to your parents, and you're obedient to God. He adds years to your life. You be disobedient to your parents and disobedient to God. God says, I can take away those years. And if God can take away those years, don't you think he can take you out of here early? If you become a stumbling block or a hindrance to someone else, God will take you out as a Christian, but a whole lot younger than you need to be taken out. God controls it all. I said all that. He said, I'm going to send you out, David. He said, I'm going to send you out. And the people are going to hate you because they hated me first. And he said, I want you to be harmless, wise as a serpent. Now, I want you to look at a serpent. All of us hate snakes. If you don't hate a snake, there's something wrong with you. I hate dead snakes. You put a dead snake out there in the path, and I go 10 miles around that thing. Well, I walk around it. I ain't going to go over it. I hate snakes. Why? Because God put it in me. In Genesis, he said, David, I'm going to put something in you that you're going to hate that serpent. Serpent, I'm going to put something in you that you're going to hate that man. You're going to run every time you see him coming because he's going to hit your head, stomp your head, and you're going to try to bruise his heel. You're going to try to bite him. So he put an automatic hate between serpents and humans, his people. Now, if you love snakes and you love to handle them, you better check out who you belong to. I'm not judging. I'm just telling you I don't like them. 1-800-774-5255. If you're listening by radio, if you're watching television, it should be on the screen. But anyway, if you look at a serpent never goes out of its way to come after you to bite you. A serpent stays hid from you. He'll hide under a rock. He'll hide behind a limb. He stays hid. He don't come out aggressively trying to cause trouble. Now, if you hem him up or you make him frightened, that serpent will come after you and try to bite you. If you get too close and you're about to step on him, he'll bite you. But he ain't going to come out from behind everything and come out there and show himself to hurt you unless you've been bothering him. He said, be wise as serpents. Don't go out here and try to hurt anybody. Don't go out here and try to start anything. But he said also, be wise as serpents, but be harmless as doves. Now, dove is one of the most harmless birds, I guess, there is. And, you know, doves have got good sense. Doves only mate with one mate, period, for life, period. If that mate dies, that bird, you heard of the lonesome dove? You ever seen a dove flying around here by himself? His mate got shot or died. He don't go looking for another bird. He lives the rest of his life, or she lives the rest of her life without a mate. They only mate one time with one bird, and it's for life. They'll stay together. They'll fly together. You'll always see them in couples. Wherever you see her at, you'll see him. Wherever you see him at, you'll see her. Why? Because they've made that commitment. Be harmless as doves. Don't go out here and cast stones and cast rocks. But he said, be wise as a serpent. Be wise. Keep your eyes open. Look for the red flags. You see, God put something in you. It's called discernment. You can discern the spirits of other people. And what you have to do is discern the spirit of Satan. You have to look at who he's sending after you, who's coming at you, and who's coming in all different directions. When you get that spirit of discernment, God has given you something that will help you get through this life. God knew he knew millions of years ago, but when Christ went up to Calvary 2,000 years ago, a little over, he knew that today was going to be like it is. He knew that the world was going to be like it is today. And Christians in today's world are afraid to tell people they're Christians. They're afraid to mention Jesus in schools. Why? Because you'll either get fired or get locked up, or you'll get beat. afraid to mention Jesus anywhere in the stores and department stores and around the community. Where it even got to the point where if you hang a cross up, they would arrest you and do things like that. We're living in a time that it's time for the church to take a stand, not to go out and cause trouble. But it's time that the Christians fall to their knees, call out to God, and start praying for freedom that we have. God gave us that freedom. Our men and women died on the battlefield for that freedom. Our relatives, our ancestors died for that freedom. That flag means something to Christians today. It means something to Americans. We need to be praying and asking God to intervene, and we need to be praying for these people that are following the wrong spirit. Now, all of us have got relatives. Some of you may be bound by some of these spirits, I don't know. But all of us have got relatives that are bound by the addictive spirit of alcohol, drugs, lust, lying, cheating, whatever it may be, gambling. All of us have got relatives that are bound by these spirits. Well, I'm telling you, there's a spirit of rebellion loosed in the land today, a spirit of division. Satan is trying to do everything he can to cause the whites to hate the blacks to hate the whites, the Jews to hate the Gentiles to hate the Jews. He's trying to do everything he can to disrupt this country, tear down America. But I'm telling you that we have something more powerful than that spirit of rebellion. We've got Jesus. And it's time that he said, if any two of you will just stop and gather in my name, he said, two or three. He said, if y'all gather in my name, asking anything, asking anything, he said, I'll do it. He said, if you want that spirit of rebellion gone, just ask me to remove it. Speak to the spirit, speak to the mountain, speak to the problem, and the problem has to go. Christ said it, and I believe it. He said, now I'm going to send you out there in the midst of the wolves. He said, I'm going to send you out right in the middle of all the problems and all the trouble. Church, we need to be prepared to go. We don't need to be gathering our stuff together. If instead of going out and finding another coat, when God says go, grab what you got and go. Instead of going out and trying to find 2 pairs of shoes, grab what you got and go. Instead of going and trying to save up the money to take a trip when God's told you to go somewhere, just go. God says, I'll make a way. But when he came back to the disciples, he said, now I'm going to send you out in the midst of a bunch of bad people. I'm going to send you out to the Gentiles, and the Gentiles will kill you. He said, they'll take you to court. They'll do everything they can do to you. But he said, you go out be wise, but be harmless. Show love. Show unity. Show compassion. And church, God has never told us to love Satan's children. But we are to love our brothers and sisters who may be bound by a bad spirit. But he gave us a spirit of discernment. That's so that I can look at you and discern whether or not it's you that hates me or you're a child of the devil, or it's just the spirit has gotten on you that's causing difficulty in my life. But we need to know that we've got something inside of us. You need to know today. And if you don't have what I'm talking about, you can get it. God wants you to have it. You can have the power that God has promised each one of us. I know week after week I talk about this power, but there's coming a time in our lives that we've got to have it. There's coming a time in our lives when they're going to come to your house, and you're going to either have to accept or deny Christ right before them. You're going to have to say, yes, I'm a Christian, or no, I'm not a Christian. You're going to have to say yes or no. You're going to have to take a stand for Jesus. There will be a time, if you live long enough in your life or in your family's lives, that it's going to happen. It's going to happen right here in the United States. It's going to happen right here in this world. God is trying to prepare us. He said, listen, go out in the midst of them. I'm going to send you out in the midst of them. He's testing us right now to see what we're going to do with him. This morning you had a decision to make. You could either get up and come to church or you could stay home. Some decided that I'm going to stay home today. Some said I'm going to go to church. Why? Because some realize that they don't have anything without Jesus. You don't have anything without God. I don't care what you think you've accomplished. You've accomplished absolutely nothing without Jesus Christ and without God. You don't have anything. You can't breathe. You can't talk. You can't walk. You can't dress yourself. You cannot do anything without Christ. So no matter what you think you've accomplished,